All right, and we are live. Welcome to Paradigm Shift TV 314. This is your brother, Pianki Patai Muntu Neferamun Ra, aka DMG. We got our brother Nuri Ursi.
Nuri Shabaka Ursa Ma'at Ra.
There you go. And we got a special guest tonight. It's our honor to have this brother on. But before we have him introduce himself, let me do my usual spiel. Let me say hotep to my fellow Kemetic brothers and sisters. Let me say God bless to my Christian brothers and sisters. Let me say Islam to my Moorish brothers and sisters. Let me say Assalamu alaikum to my brothers and sisters in the NOI. Let me say peace to my brothers and sisters in the nation of gods and earth and 5%ers. Let me say shalom to my Israelite brothers and sisters. Let me say what's up to my atheist brothers and sisters out there. And let me say Jumbo to the rest of my brothers and sisters throughout the African diaspora, be it here in the wilderness of the United States of America or beyond. Y'all know why I say that greeting is because if you're Black, I'm with you, and I hope you with me. Our different ideologies should not keep us from uniting, and we can have unity without uniformity. And most of all, we can disagree without being disrespectfully disagreeable. And with that, my brother, please introduce yourself to the Paradigm Shift TV 314 audience.
All right, hello, my name is William Jones. I make videos about leaving religion. The purpose of the videos is to get you to think. Turn your brains on and think and use logic and use reason and realize that religion is fake. So that's what I do.
There it is, there it is. So we're gonna jump right into it, bro. How did you come up in the church, and what was that development like? Were your parents Christians? Did they raise you to be Christians, etc.? What was that process?
Man, my great grandfather, my mother's father, came from Kingston, Jamaica. Stowed upon a ship, came to America. Couldn't read, couldn't write when he came here. Got here, learned how to read, write, and somehow he became a major, religious figure in the area of Newport News, Virginia, where I'm from. And there's another one, if you look into the books, his name is Elder Lightfoot Mishaw. And they were big time in the area, so, I mean, our family was like deep in it. You understand what I'm saying? Deep in it. And so that's what I was born into. So, going to church on Sunday and having that white Bible on the coffee table with the white Jesus and a little hologram picture, opened up to a page, nobody reads it. That was just part of what it was. You were raised in it. I went to church when we moved to Florida, and my godmother was a traveling speaker, you know what I'm saying? And me and my god sister will have to sing Jesus Loves the Little Children before she speak. I'm talking about where you had the fan with Martin Luther King, Kennedy and Bobby Kennedy, John F. Kennedy and Bobby Kennedy on the fan. and the drums was the people stomping on the church floor when the dude was playing. I'm talking about, and when you had to go down the dirt road in Hawthorne, Florida to get to the church. All of that. I'm just saying I grew up in church, you know what I'm saying? So it's just a part of my fabric that even today, I mean, there's certain remnants of it, even though I have left, there's a certain respect that I have, that lingers. Like, I'm not going to cuss in front of my elders, you know what I'm saying? Unless they cussing elders, then I'll do that. I'm not, if I'm in my car listening to music and I got the windows down, I pull up to a light, and if the music is cussing, and people are next to me, I'm gonna turn it down. I'm just that type, you know what I'm saying? So some of the remnants of it just stick with you for life. I don't know if you can get rid of it or not.
Right.
But that's the basics of it. So that's how I got into it. I was born into it, But go ahead, though. I don't want to just tell my whole, I can tell my whole
man. No doubt.
Oh, shoot, it's your show, brother.
All right.
How did you, I guess as you grew up, was ministry sort of a natural progression for you then? Or was that something that you was kind of reared to? Because my cousin and I, he could tell you this, basically our whole lives, we had people telling us, he was raised in church, I wouldn't, but whenever somebody that was in church would see me, Lord got to work for you. You're gonna be preaching His word. He was told the same thing. So
Me too.
I can imagine you had the same situation.
Oh man, I had an English teacher, black lady at the school, and I was cutting up in class, and she pulled me to the side. Your grandfather would turn over in his grave if he could see you acting like this. You know, because Elder James Taylor, you know, that was big. That was a big name, you know. So, you know, she helped me out a lot based on him. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I went through my years as a teenager, smoking weed, drinking, doing all kind of stuff. I'm from Newport News. It's nicknamed Bad News. That's what they call it, Bad News. But I did things, but I didn't, you know, as far as robbing and killing and, you know, I'm not doing all of that, but we did some stuff, you know what I'm saying? But I came out of it, you know, it was just a matter of, I guess, you know, people telling you things, you got to get your life right with the Lord and so on and so forth. And then when I turned like, what 20, I think I was 20. It was in 1992. It was, I got the date in one of my songs called Little History. But I don't know. I just went ahead and I met a dude on the job. He said he was a Christian. He was getting his life right. And I just kind of wanted to know about it. I asked him some questions about it. And he told me, his name was Keith Brown. And he told me some things, this, that, and the third. And I ended up going to church one Sunday and got saved, you know, crying and all that good stuff. You know, they had the whole church crying. I'm crying. My father's mother went there and my father's older sister went there. So I would go there with them, you know, sitting back, way in the back. I couldn't sit in the very back row because that's where the ushers sat. So I sat in the row before that. So, but you know, when I cried and gave my life to the Lord, you know, the church just broke down and cried. And then I started learning things. And it's, you know, the church it's an older Baptist church. So here I come from young blood. And they would always try to have me speaking. In fact, the first time they had me speak, they asked me to speak. The title was Proper Preparation Prevents Poor Performance. So that was the first time they asked me to speak, and they gave me weeks to get ready. And I did not get ready. I freestyled it. Freestyled and tore the church up. You know what I'm saying? I was that dude. I was the dude in the church. We didn't have drums. I hooked my drum machine up in the back. I hooked up with the piano player. We got together and I programmed drums to play with the choir because other churches had drums and we didn't have all of that. I was that dude trying to modernize the church, but the church was just too old to be modernized. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Man, I got some church stories for you, man, for real. Some church stories for you.
So,
and
go ahead. How long were you in the ministry when you started to have the doubts that would eventually lead you to leave Christianity and religion overall?
Okay. Basically, I know I left at 22 years. I might have had the doubts in the 21st year. Okay. Now, let's say this. I'm from Hampton, Newport News, Virginia. I even got some videos on YouTube. In my local area, I was a very popular Christian rapper. And I went by the name Beloved the Prophet. All right? And one of my famous lines, everybody know from my song, Jesus is the Answer, call me a shuttle, because I'm about to rock it. Beloved the Prophet, check it as I drop it. You know, when I said that part, especially after I dropped the CD, everybody waiting for that. Call me a shuttle, because I'm about to rock it. Beloved the Prophet, check it as I drop it. And so I was known for that in the area. And from going from, you know, I'm talking about old school where I started making cassettes. I was selling cassettes. You know what I'm saying? Then started selling CDs. And then that branched out to doing shows every weekend, all over the place doing shows every weekend. Been on the news, been in the newspaper, you know what I'm saying? Been on television, been on panels, you know, with city officials. And hosting things, places I thought I'd never be. You understand what I'm saying? So I became that person in that community until in 2012 I left and moved to Georgia. So after I came to Georgia, I went to Creflo Dollar's church. And at one point, I wasn't in charge of the evangelistic ministry, but because the ones in charge kept skipping every week, and I was the only one that showed up, I basically ran it. You know, we get the buses, the walkie-talkies, go out in the neighborhoods, knock on doors to convert people. You know what I'm saying? But as I began to read the Bible, I started really learning that a lot of things we believe weren't in the Bible. They were tradition. They were tradition and just not in the Bible. And I think that my constant searching is what did me in with religion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you keep digging, it's like I told you, I do the analogies. You sit there in front of the Wizard of Oz and you see the smoke and you see the fire and you hear the loud voice and you say, what is that behind that curtain over there? And once you look behind that curtain and you see the man pulling switches and talking on the microphone, and once you see how the magic trick is done, you can no longer believe in the magic anymore. You're done. You can't go back. If you go back, you're only going back to rob the people, basically. So, I mean, after I kept searching, I was done in. But, I mean, I'm going to let you say something before I break it down some more. I don't want to do the whole story. Just say something. Then let me finish it on up a little bit.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, though, because and my cousin can attest to this. Like we had similar experience. We weren't in ministry though, but we kind of kept thinking and having these questions, and the process was a little slow because you know you so ingrained in this belief, and you know it's that fear of hell is real, and then the exclusion
under that spell.
family and friends is real. And so you really like, man, am I losing my mind? Like, am I tripping?
Right.
And then you just get to a point where none of that even matter no more. It's just like, nah, this is not making sense. And me and him always laugh and joke about it now. But me and him even went through a point, and we close as two people could be outside of a husband and a wife.
Right.
But that's my brother. And so I remember he was still in it as I had got out of it. And he thought I lost my mind to the point where when he started making his transition out, I was like shocked and almost thinking like, hey, maybe he should get back in it. Because I was so polarized by the fact that he was out of it because of his stance when I got out of it, that I thought maybe something was wrong. And not even understanding that he had the same experience that I did. And so I know exactly what you're talking about, how it, once it clicked.
I got a question for you, brother. Who's the hardest person that you had to tell that you didn't believe in Jesus no more?
The hardest person I had to tell, I haven't told. That was my mentor. I haven't even spoken to him since I came out.
Wow.
And
you think he know?
He might know. I mean, his people know.
Okay.
You know, I mean, his family members know, and we're friends on Facebook and what have you. You know, even when I came out, I made a public post. Somebody was like, yo, I mean, hold on, you're not talking the same. You might need to address people because you got people following you and you're not talking the same. So I made a long post and I came out. At first, I came out as a deist. And I said, there may be a God. I don't know. But I just know that the whole thing with the Bible, that ain't it. You know what I'm saying? So I left it at that. And I think after I listened to the audio book, and I later went and bought the book to have a copy of Christopher Hitchens. What is it? God Isn't Good or God Isn't Great. And I have the book. After I listened to the audio book and the things that were done in history in the name of the religion, I came back and did another post and said, you know what? Don't associate me with religion at all.
Mm-hmm.
And if there is a creator or a God, if he ain't stepping to me, I don't care. Because if you're so important, you sure haven't made it a point to come find out who I am. After I sat there, I mean, literally, the last prayer I ever prayed was, Heavenly Father, like the evidence is piling up against you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if you are real, I mean, you need to reveal yourself to me and show me something, because it's just not looking good right now. And so I said, just show me the truth. And right after that, I was out. That was the last prayer I ever prayed.
Yeah, that I had a similar situation. The last time I prayed was, I think, April 2nd or somewhere in there. Matter of fact, it may have even been in March. But my grandmother was in the hospital. She was in the ICU, and she had been crying out, like, Lord, like she even asked me. She grabbed my hand and she said, "What have I done for God for me to have to suffer like this?" She was in a lot of pain during the last days of her life. And I was like, Mama, you ain't did nothing. You know, and I'm already at this state where I no longer, I don't have full belief in this religion no more. So her asking me that question and me coming to the conclusion that she hadn't did nothing, I was like, I'm gonna get this one last shot. Like, if this is it for me, I'm gonna find out today. So I went out in the waiting room with nobody there but me, got on my knees, and I did. That was the last time I prayed. That was what was that, cuz 2017? And that was it. Because I knew what it was, but I just want, like, if that situation resolved itself the way I prayed, just for her to be healed. Everybody say, well, she was this age and she was that. I prayed for her to be healed. Like, y'all say this guy can do anything. Like, so don't put a limit on it now because she was a particular age. So, but I couldn't wrap my mind around this suffering that this woman was going through for nothing. And so I was done with it. I ain't see no reason to keep going back and forth, straddling the fence, worrying about what people was gonna say. It was a wrap. So so when you made that move, how were you received? Because I know you said a lot of people was reacting and saying you got people following you, etc. How big of a negative effect did it have?
I will say this. I went to like a job interview yesterday, right? And before I went, you know, I was at the foot of my bed and I got on my knees. Then I got down on my elbows and my hands, my face to the floor. And I looked under my bed and grabbed my dress shoes to go with my suit that I was about to wear to go to the interview. No, I wasn't praying. You know what I'm saying? No, I wasn't praying. But yeah, all right, check this out. In January of 2014, I was ordained as an apostle. So it was like, oh, Joe, I mean, can't get no higher than that. You know what I'm saying?
Can't get no higher than that.
Can't get no higher than that. That even to the point the pastor that I was under, because his people didn't do it, they was shucking and jiving. He told me to leave and start my own thing. He basically put me out the church. You know what I'm saying? Because he was a headstrong thing, whatever. So, but it was like, but I was like, I don't feel the magic powers kicking in. When are the superpowers gonna kick in, like Paul and all? And when it's all like, I still feel like a regular dude. When the powers kick in, you know, they didn't kick in. But as I had started my journey researching on things, matter of fact, let me tell you this. What happened? Let me tell you what happened. What really kicked it off on Facebook, I asked the question, like, who is God? That's all I asked was, who is God? And you know, you got your basic answers. There's one sister, ironically, who was a female, and she was a pastor. She said, I did the research, and God's name is Yahweh. And I mean, she went into the whole spill about Yahweh and some other gods, and she told it, and you know, and then she finished it up with, but that's not my God. My God is the only God. So I was like, I don't want to put this out there in public. You know, like some things like happen in church, you don't say it in front of everybody. You say it in the back, away from the congregation. You can't let them hear everything. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of hit her in the DM like, yo, I mean, so hold on, what's up with this Yahweh thing? What's up with this? And she was like, I'm not gonna go back and forth with you. And she just basically cut me off. So now I'm like, well, now I gotta, what's up with this Yahweh thing? Well, that started me digging down the rabbit hole. And I'm like, so you mean to tell me that God has a backstory? I thought he just always was. So he got a mother and a father, siblings, a beginning. I'm like, hold on, that's what got into the prayer with, like, hey, Lord, you need to tell me something because I'm lying. Well, I ain't gonna say you lying to me because you ain't saying nothing anyway. Basically, I'm making it all up in my head anyway. So you really didn't lie to me because you never really said anything. But the evidence was piling up. But when it came time for me to leave, and anybody, most people, I'm gonna say this, most people that have been deep in religion and leave, these are the words right here. When it all comes together and it erupts like a volcano, this is what you say. Man, it's bullshit. When somebody says that, when they say that, they out.
They out. That's all it was.
That
was out. But the thing was,
that old Bernie Mac, it's some bull.
It's some bull. After going through the whole Bible, I had more questions than answers, and God did a lot of shiesty stuff, you know. So you cool with sending lion spirits? You cool with this? You know what I'm saying? You cool with telling Ahaz here that you know, the virgin shall conceive and bear a child, his name should be called Emmanuel. This is a sign that this king not gonna take you over. But then the other book, he gave the man to the king. You know, when I realized it was all fake, that answered all my questions.
Bash the baby's heads against the rocks, you know.
It doesn't make sense. But what makes sense is if you say it's all bullshit, it makes perfect sense.
Perfect sense.
Answered all my questions. Now I get it. Men wrote it. That's what it was.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. Because from a narrative standpoint, and this the conundrum I get into with my Christian brothers, because to them the narrative makes sense. But like we talking about, it say God is not a man that he should lie, but he put a lying spirit on somebody. Then he say, I created good and I created evil, and they say, well, that just means calamity. Well, what the hell do calamity mean?
Right.
Like, it's not good.
It don't mean good.
Right.
And then my dude killed the dude because he didn't want to pop a wad in his brother's wife. Like this the pettiest cat ever. And I pride myself on being petty. Like I tell people all the time, if I could get paid for alienating friends and alienating people and losing friends, I'd be a millionaire. So I know petty, but this is the pettiest dude ever.
The pettiest.
It's crazy. But the narrative makes sense to them.
Yeah, so the man steals some of God's spoils and God allows his people, they lose it in war. Probably lost about 15 people. I can't be precise. Lost about 15 people. And Joshua and them like, well, Lord, we're losing. What's going on? Like, one of your people stole my stuff. And then they checking everybody. Well, God, he won't even tell them who stole it. You got to interrogate everybody. So the guy says, okay, I stole the stuff. And say, okay, we'll find out what the Lord says we're going to do with you. And not only does God say stone him, stone his wife, stone his kids, stone all of them for what he did. It's like, what is the point? It's like he just loves killing. He loves killing. For him, killing is like when we at the barbecue and they cooking the ribs and you smelling the ribs like, oh, them ribs gonna be good. I think that's how it is for God. We smell with the blood coming up. Kill some more. Kill the babies. Kill the old.
Right, kill the babies.
Because I'm glad.
Except for the virgins, you lead them for yourself.
Because you know they virgins.
It's like when the Canaanites had to go because they was violating his laws by sacrificing their children to Molech. They were sacrificing their children to Molech. So the solution was go in and kill every man, woman, and child.
Right.
So the solution to them the solution to them sacrificing their children to Molech was to kill every man, woman, and child.
Right.
What? Huh? So you mad that they sacrificing their children, and the solution is to kill all the children?
Hold on, brothers. Y'all taking it out of context.
Oh, yeah, we did. We just all out of context. Here's a better reason for it. If you met somebody and you say, hey, you met a dude, you said, what's your name? My name is Michael Lewinsky. Michael Lewinsky. Are you related to Monica Lewinsky? Oh, well, yeah, that's my cousin. You know, we know what she did with President Clinton, right? Well, whenever you hear the Lewinsky, you're going to associate that name with Monica. Or however bad the Kardashians get, whenever you hear Kardashian, you're going to associate them with the keeping up with the Kardashians group. So let's say you like, okay, we tired of dealing with the history, the short history of that name. So let's get rid of that name. What do? Make a new name.
Facts.
Start a new name.
Facts.
But yeah, so we'll be Israel.
Right.
We'll be Israel.
We don't want to associate with them old Canaanites up in the mountains.
Yeah. Right.
We ain't gonna eat that swine no more.
Yeah,
we ain't gonna eat them shellfish no more. We're gonna separate from them people totally.
Yeah.
We ain't gonna even worship all of them gods.
But we're gonna take their gods and write in a book that you was going to the promised land, which was Canaan, when in actuality you were found in Canaan. You originate from Canaan. So you're supposed to destroy these people and you're supposed to destroy them in the book. But in reality, ain't that where you come from? So you can say one thing in a book and people will remember what you said in the book because the book is there, but what actually happened, you can forget, move past. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're trying to disconnect from who you are.
And it's just like, and that's why he had one name in Genesis, but then when we get to Exodus, he tell Moses, I'm the same God of your forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, but they knew me as this name, but right. I'm telling you, this is actually my name. Because let's right. further distance ourselves from those Canaanites. But I mean, you know, that
well, I mean, what's one of the most powerful things in history? You know what?
Pen.
Facts. Facts. The pen is mightier than the sword.
Whatever you write, literature is powerful. You can say whatever you want to say. People are believing this book as much as it's been changed and altered in different versions and transliterated, whatever words you want to add to it, you don't have the original. But as old as this book is, we're in 2020 with all the advanced technology we have, and people are still defending this book. With all the nonsense in this book, people are still defending this book.
Facts.
I mean,
in that book, I was asking my cousin, what did the devil do wrong in that book?
Nothing.
Like I have yet to see a scripture that says that the devil did anything wrong.
They said he did, but
matter of fact, evil. What evil did he do?
Nothing.
They can't pull out a scripture. Like you said, that's tradition.
That's tradition. When it comes to the devil or Satan, if according to the book of Job, first off, he was supposed to be, according to tradition, cast out of heaven to the earth, right? But in the book of Job, the sons of God were all gathered around, and God was supposed to be there, and Satan was there also. Why is Satan there? Unless that's your tradition. That's your tradition. Understand that the book says one thing, tradition says another. Tradition don't always line up with what the book says. Right. According to the book, Satan was there. It was the title of this angel, or whatever that he had a certain job to do that was different from the other ones. And God proposed the bet to him. Hast thou considered my servant Job, one that shuns evil and fears God. And God and what to say, like, man, because you give him everything, you blinging him out. Take his bling, see what he do. All right. You know what? You can take his bling, but you can't touch him. Now, I don't know how you can have an enemy that you can tell the enemy what you can and can't do. So right. That's an employee. We call that an employee. So I can't do anything bad against you unless you allow me to do it. So that's not an enemy. He's just another angel. Like, oh, he's a fallen angel. He's a fallen what? What? Right. What? He's a fallen what? Angel. He's still an angel, according to their tradition. Kills 10 people in the book by God. God tells him to do this. 10 people. God floods the whole earth. But according to the Christians and their tradition, if God does it, nothing wrong with it. No matter, I don't care what God does, it's fine in their eyes. You see what I'm saying? They'll justify, oh, he could do that because he's God. When a person is not real and he's just a thought in your mind, you can always bend him and twist him to be whatever you want him to be as you see fit that makes you happy. And that's what they do. I don't care if we do it is wrong, well, because you didn't give life and he gave life. Look.
Hey, the book I dislike the most in the Bible is the book of Job. Because
I was about to say this.
And shout out to my little brother, Nobody from Trust and Believe the Gospel, my man.
What's up, Nobody?
And because that's his favorite book. And so me and him kind of go back and forth on that.
Has he read the whole middle? Not the beginning and the end, but all that boring crap in the middle?
He knows the book from front to back, and I give him that.
Boring.
But I've read it too, and I hate that book. And the reason I hate it is because it's like, to me, I lost a child, right? And I had 3 others after that. Nothing nothing takes away the pain of losing my other child. And I firmly
Right.
believe that because, and here's the story. And when I was a Christian, this was my thing. My wife had fibroid tumors. When we lost our baby, the tumors were gone. No surgery required. They passed out with our baby who died. And so that clearly made it easier for us to conceive the next 3 children who are now 18, 17, and 15. So in my mind, even though I'm heartbroken and I'm not understanding why we, this baby who I was reading the Bible to and would move in my wife's stomach, and every time she heard my voice, she would respond. And unlike the kids upstairs who look like my wife, act like me, but look like my wife, this child looked just like me. Like, why does she have to be sort of the sacrificial lamb in order for them to come about?
Right.
But it was like, she, in my mind, God took her away so that we could clear the way for these. That was my rationale. But nothing takes away the pain of losing Deanna. Even though I love those 3 up there with all my heart, I still grieve the loss of my child. So when I hear, well, God gave him more children and more like his children died though.
That don't replace Jack.
He ain't getting over
acting like children was money or something.
Yeah, he ain't getting over the death of his children. Like, what are you talking about? And so, and that's not even to say that the narrative is saying that he would get over it, but it's just the way that it's written. Like, because God gave him more kids, that made it all right that he gave Satan permission to take them away.
It was double for his trouble.
Yeah, and it's like, so this dude betrays you. This Satan character betrays you, starts a war in your kingdom, right? You got to kick him out with 1/3 of the angels, yet he can walk up in here whenever he wants to and kick it with y'all. Like your dudes didn't even pull their swords out, their spears. Ain't nobody get on guard when homeboy walked up in there, and you was just like, hey, homie, where you been? Going to and fro about the earth. Like, y'all just casual with it.
Yeah. And then holler at the bookie. Holler at the bookie and make a bet,
Yeah, this loyal soldier of yours, you allow him to torment a man who was loyal to you.
Who wasn't doing nothing to nobody.
Like, that makes sense. Like, that's irritating. That story irritates the hell out of me.
But then again, that goes back to there is a Christian tradition and there's what the book says. You got to remember, God, just like Satan, were constantly evolving as time went on. The writer of Genesis, even the 2 different creation stories, they did not, of course, let's go with the second Genesis story that starts in Genesis chapter 2, verse 4. That made Adam at first, right? He was not omnipresent, omniscient, all that. He wasn't everywhere at the same place at the same time, because after they ate the fruit, they hid when they heard his voice. Now, if he was everywhere at the same time, they wouldn't have touched the fruit because they knew he was there the whole time. But whoever wrote that story did not have a single God, 2, a God that was everywhere at the same time. That's something that came about later. He didn't know everything because he asked too many questions right after that. Adam, what did you do? Or the woman you gave me. Eve, what did you do? I ate the damn fruit. Shit was delicious. You know what I'm saying? And then it goes, we naked. Who told you was naked? Now, for a dude that's supposed to know everything, you asking a hell of a lot of questions.
He's just asking for us. He's not asking for himself.
Right. Because it's a story. Oh, watch this. Because for the younger people that might not know this, do you remember watching Spider-Man, the cartoon Spider-Man and Friends with Iceman and Firestorm back in the 80s?
I still watch that.
Okay. If you notice on that cartoon, when Spider-Man is swinging around by himself, we always hear his thoughts when he's talking to himself.
The inner monologue.
Right.
To let us know what's going on. You understand what I'm saying? So
Back.
that's what that's a story. It's not
It's a
real.
story.
So what's going on is they try, he's asking questions to let us know what's going on.
Right.
It's clearly,
that's God in a monologue.
it's a story. It's a story.
Or some preachers will say, well, he asking the question because he want to see what Adam finna say. But if he already know everything, he already know. So what will Adam shock him? Adam gonna shock him and be like, say, you know what, God, you right.
Right. No. That's the stuff they make up to help them sleep better at night.
Right.
But in actuality, it's just a story. It's not real. It's too much detail for something that no one was around.
Right.
No one was around to know what happened. It's a story.
So
the devil tempted Jesus. Who was around to witness that? And
let me do this for both of y'all then, because instead of I usually say let me play devil's advocate, but let me play God's advocate.
Right.
So you have a lot of different mythological stories, right? You have Greek mythology, Norse mythology, Kemetic mythology, different cosmologies and mythologies throughout the continent of Africa, Europe, etc., right? India, Asia. These Abrahamic faiths, particularly Christianity, seems to transcend beyond myth to the point where people believe it's true. So what is it about this story that is clearly a powerful story, because everybody can concede to the fact that these other stories are myths, but this one, everybody, or I ain't gonna say everybody, but most people have collectively at some point began to say this was true. So what was it about this story where people said, okay, this is not myth, this is not pagan, this is actually true, this is right and exact? It got to be something to it for that to have taken place, right?
Right. Well, watch this right here. Watch this right here. I didn't know until maybe my children were probably, I don't know if they was around about 17, 18, 19. We were just talking one day, and my son said, like, Dad, I didn't know till a couple of years ago that Forrest Gump wasn't a real person. And I was like, what? Think about it. He met John F. Kennedy. He met Lyndon Johnson. He met Nixon. He met Elvis, right? I mean, he was there in the Vietnam
Stalin.
War. He was in the Vietnam War. When Apple came around, he was there. I mean, it was like everything around the Forrest Gump story was real. Only thing that wasn't real was the Forrest Gump story. So, Jesus, you mentioned Herod the Great. Real person? Yeah, real person. You mentioned, Caesar Tiberius. Real person. Caiaphas. Real person. To some, they say John the Baptist. Real person. Some of the places they mentioned, real places. So, okay, so you mentioned all these places. You talk about Pontius Pilate. Real person. The Roman Empire. That was real. A lot of things included in the story were historical, except Jesus. And then now you take that and have the most powerful empire at the time forcing it on people. Christianity. If you got the government having Bibles produced, no, producing first the whole Bible with the New Testament, then having the Bible mass produced, then making it the state religion, you understand what I'm saying? And ostracizing, heretics, hearsay, this kind of backs it a whole lot more. The power that was behind it. Now you have taken this religion that was already out there. It's like you got a fire, and it turns into a forest fire, and now you can concentrate the power of that fire into the beam of a laser and point it wherever you want to point it and use it however you want to use it. That's a different type of power. You change it. You control. Oh, they got a Jesus over here. This Jesus with the infancy gospel. This Jesus was this. That Jesus was this. Oh, we had all these different Jesuses. Oh, so many Jesuses that you're going to say, okay, he's out there. They made the Nicene Creed. We're going to say who Jesus is. We're going to take that forest fire, condense the power of that fire into a laser. A laser is a condensed, powerful light to point it where we want to point it and use it how we want to use it. We control the narrative now. In literature, this the power. What did they do? While everybody was talking, we're going to take it and put it all together. And 2022, these people are still defending this book. It was a genius plan if you're in power.
He who controls the printed page controls the thinking of the age.
Boom. That's it. They control it. And even today, is not the Pope a major figure? They'd be like, the Christians say, oh, the Roman Catholic, they fake this and that. Nobody's going to kiss T.D. Jakes' ring. Nobody's going to meet with him and Joe Osteen before they go to war. It ain't no big thing to meet them, right? But the Pope is a major figure. Why? We would love to see what they got in that Vatican library, about 6 miles of literature. We'd love to see it. They control that. Long as they got the Jesus there, they still have the power. Let me say this right quick. The moon landing, right? The first moon landing back in 1969, Apollo 11. And we could say it was real, we could say it was fake. But if NASA never says it was fake, it has to be acknowledged as real. You understand that?
Mm-hmm.
If Rome never says Jesus is fake, you have to acknowledge it as real. And people will still believe it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what more you want on that.
Hey, that's what it is. I had zoned out for a minute. We had some shenanigans in the chat, but
I was trying to read the chat. I can't read the chat and do this at the same time.
Yeah. It's all good.
What was going on in the chat?
Man,
I know.
The same old, man. Scripture ripper going off, putting people in time out. Shout out to my brother Lee Mack. Shout out to my brother Savio. Y'all.
What's up?
Man.
Shout out to Outside the Cube. But you feel like taking some questions from a few people in the chat?
Yeah, they can go ahead. I don't know whether you like what I asked you, but you can go ahead and ask.
All right, I'm gonna throw the link in.
Before we do that, let's establish what I told you before.
Okay.
Remember, you asked me, do I subscribe basically as an agnostic or an atheist?
Yeah.
And I said I'm a realist.
Right. I like that.
But by default, because there's they're gonna label me as an atheist.
Right.
But I mean,
they want to give you a atheist worldview, whatever the hell that is.
Christians have to label everything in order to control the narrative of everything. They have to label and categorize everything in order to control it. That's, if you notice, they give you. I was called a nihilist, a naturalist, atheist. they just keep making up all these new labels because they have to control what's going on. So in order to do so, they have to label and categorize everything. Not for me, because I don't give a damn.
Right.
They do that for themselves and for their group.
Right.
I don't really care.
Right. Put you in a box. They trying to put you in a box.
They have to put you in a box because they're in a box.
Right.
I like when I asked them though.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I like when I asked them, I say, do you consider yourself atheist or agnostic? and you know, like you said, because of they the only categories we got to pick from, I consider myself agnostic. My cousin considered himself an atheist. And you said, no, I'm a realist. I was like, I had to sit back like, damn, I like that. And
I had to correct you because it ain't that I'm like with him. It ain't that I consider myself an atheist. By the definition, I would be considered an atheist.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
By default, I don't believe in what they believe in. So,
because I don't accept their claim.
Yeah, before we say that, let me say this too, that after I came out of religion, there were a lot of false, what I want to say, false descriptions they want to give to atheists. It's like they want to say, okay, because I believe something, so what do you believe?
Right.
I don't have to believe anything. Because I worship something, what do you worship? You don't realize you don't have to believe anything. You don't have to worship anything. You don't have to have a higher power. Where are you getting this from? I don't have to have any of that. None of that. I'm just doing like everybody else in the real world, and I'm living. I'm in Georgia. Georgia Power don't give a damn what I believe in as long as they get their money every month.
Thanks.
My mortgage
company up with a question.
My mortgage company don't give a damn what I believe as long as I pay the mortgage.
Thanks.
This is a question that me and my cousin, we ask, and I'm pretty sure, people that don't believe, we ain't the only ones that ask this question. But I posed the question, what can their God that they believe in do in this reality that we live in? What can he do that we can't do without believing in that God, or somebody who believes in another God cannot do? Name me one thing that he can do that I cannot do. Absolutely. And nobody has ever gave me an answer.
Because then they're gonna tell you, well, God is don't have to do that to prove it's up to you. God is God. But the bottom line, everything they're saying is gonna come back right back to what you said. I don't need your God.
I don't need him.
If he's not gonna do anything, then guess what? I don't need him.
There's plenty of successful people without God.
Plenty more. The ones who run everything don't need him.
Exactly.
The gods are for poor people.
I tell people all the time, look, man, I got a religion. I ain't gonna front. I got a religion. And cuz already know. my religion is sex, and my God is my wife's vagina. I go to that altar and I worship faithfully.
Hey,
I pray every night. I pray every night that she let me into her chapel.
I have no problem with that.
It is what it is. So I got a religion. I'm not anti-religion, and I'm not mad at my brothers.
Let me get a bite of that right now.
For being religious. It's just that I just got questions about the sovereignty of the God of the quote unquote Abrahamic faith.
Right.
Because it's like me and you was talking earlier, like me and my cousin had this discussion. We have it all the time. And I done had it right here on this channel. And we talk about this, I call it the Omni God. When we talk about the Omni God, who is all powerful, who is ever present, he everywhere at the same time.
And all knowing.
He knows, he's omniscient, he knows everything. I'm omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent. The Omni God, right? So, and he's all good. Ain't no bad in him. So when we mention bad, nah, he ain't got nothing to do with the bad. That's on y'all.
Right.
That's on Satan. That's on whoever. Okay, cool. So when these bad, messed up things happen, he there, but he don't act. Shout out to my brother Thomas White. He said, well, if he acts, ain't we just robots? Because now we taking away free will if he don't allow men to do what they do. And so my question is, if he don't act, do he actually care? Because how can, if you all good and you there when this fucked up shit happened and you don't do nothing about it, then how do you care? Because like I said, when we going down that street and I saw the little girl seemingly being choked, I hopped my ass out that car and I made sure that little girl was okay. And I know damn well I'm not all good by any means. So I did that. But God is there all the time when babies getting put in the microwave, babies' womb getting destroyed by these molesting bastards. And he there and he ain't doing nothing about it. So don't tell me he all good and then he there when these things occur. Now, if you want to say he all powerful, cool. You want to say he know everything, cool. Even if you want to say he everywhere at once, cool. Don't tell me he all good because he can't be all good if he sit back and watch this shit happen.
Right.
If he sit back and watch a baby get ravaged by cancer while her parents or his parents sitting there begging for him to do something about it. Don't miss me with that bullshit. Real talk. Like, come on, man.
I got two
Don't
words.
Tell me he all good. You can tell me all that other shit, but the all good part, leave that out because that's cap. That's all. I mean,
I got two words, cuz. Special pleading. They got to have special pleading. That's the only way they can bring that God into this reality is through special pleading. You see what I'm saying?
Attempt to bring that God into this reality.
Attempt. Now, how many, when I got shot, cuz, and the bullet missed my heart, who was in control of that bullet? God, according to everybody. So God can change the course of a bullet, but he cannot protect a young girl getting brutally raped. Matter of fact, he's watching it. And none of them brothers can answer that when I say God is right there watching this young girl get brutally raped and does nothing. There's none of them brothers that will sit there and watch that. But they God will.
That's what they say. If he everywhere at once.
Watch this, but when I watched your video, and I don't want to name drop, you know what I'm saying, but you know what I'm talking about. And when you said what you said about the morality of one person sitting there and watching and the other person intervenes, which one is really moral, right? And then your people said about if the child has gum disease or something and the doctor is working on them and they're removing what have you so that the child can live from the gum disease or what, that ain't got nothing to do with raping a child. One is to save the child's life, and they're still going to try to use some type, more than likely to knock the child out. When I had my wisdom teeth removed, all I know is they gave me a shot, and I woke up in another room. My mom was sitting there reading a book, waiting for me to wake up. I wasn't screaming and hollering. She did what was best for me, but there was no torture involved in it. If you sodomizing a child, trying to have sex with a child, traumatizing a child, and then you're going to tell me God had a purpose out of that, that's a sick God.
That's a sick God.
Sick.
And you know, see, and I understand the argument, right? Like let's just say, for example, no anesthesia is available, and the child tooth got to be taken out, and if it's not taken out, the child will die. So you sign off on your child going through excruciating pain so that their life will be saved. Got it. Here's the issue. One is a life-saving measure that you sign off on, and they in the care of doctors who, even though the child gonna be in pain, the doctor's gonna do everything they can to minimize said pain. They doctors, they took an oath not to harm, the Hippocratic oath, etc. The other scenario is I'm sitting here watching a child be brutalized, and then I'm a justify it by saying it was in my plan. I'm gonna give you, cuz know who I'm talking about. I'm not gonna name this individual, but we both know this sister. This sister was not touched by her potential molester, but he was setting it up for her to be molested. And in the process of him sort of prepping her for the impending molestation, this sister, some 30 years later, still has issues that reverberate from him just setting this molester setting her up for what would have been molestation because of the fallout. Her mother not doing what she was supposed to do. Her father not doing what he was supposed to do. This sister is still plagued by that situation. So imagine if the bastard would have actually got to the point where he could have did what he intended to do, because he made his intentions known. He just was never able to follow through with it. But let's say he was actually able to follow through with it, because the sister has issues with her family to this day, and all he did was state his intent. Let's say he would have actually got to do it. What's my point? What part of God's plan was it for this sister to be having these psychological issues with her mother, her father, her uncles, her brother, her husband to a degree? What part of God's plan was that for that to take place? So you see what I mean? Like I'm not following, but you know, y'all go ahead.
You know what? I had braces back in from the 6th grade to the 9th grade. And I call them my Dracula teeth. You know, they had to pull them on the top and the bottom because they just wouldn't fall out. And I started getting teeth that was pointing out over the top. You know what I'm saying? So I remember that I didn't even think about this until you just mentioned it. That's how less traumatic it was, because it was for a greater good. You understand what I'm saying? But I remember now how when they had to shake those teeth, they numbed it, but you still felt the shaking and felt the pressure when they had to pull these teeth that weren't even loose in order for the other teeth to drop down and put the braces in. You had to talk about all that before I even thought about it. It's nothing I lost sleep over. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not going to counseling because the dentist took my teeth out of my mouth. You can't compare a dentist appointment to a rape. Then one is the purpose. One has a purpose. The other purpose is some selfish ambition of the person that's doing it. See, but that's what I hate is that they use the religion, and that's a horrible. I love analogy, but that was a horrible analogy. Horrible. You can't use that. So no, there's no point in it. And if that God is going to sit around and allow that, it shows you exactly what he is. That's why he created evil. He created evil, so he is evil. You only created if you are that. I mean, think about this. What was the first thing? If we look at the first Genesis creation myth, what was the first thing God said?
What was it?
Let there be light.
Let there be light.
Let there be. So you were sitting around in goddamn darkness. I thought the Bible said God is light.
Well, you know that they say that that's why he didn't have to make the sun before he made the earth, because he was light and he was the one that was.
But he had to say, let there be light. If you light, it was already light. I'm just a man
Right,
of God.
right.
Let there be light on the light.
Darkness. He floating around in darkness before you make the heavens and the earth.
Maybe he really said, let there be more light.
Hey, and then the earth was in darkness. I mean, if you know, we know the earth had to have been in darkness. You know, we know it's not a true story. But they didn't create the only light that we know, which is the sun, until the fourth day. And it took them one day to create the sun.
I'm telling you, God's light was enough to where he didn't need to make the sun, man. I'm telling you, that's what that was.
And then you got evening and morning without no sun.
Damn,
Evening
I ain't got
and
nothing for
morning
that.
are based
I ain't got
on
nothing
the
for
sun.
that.
They are based on the sun. And then the stars, I mean, the Bible's so stupid. So the sun is a star, but not even the biggest star. It's one of many stars. But you can make all of these stars in one day, but it take you all this time to make some trees and some bushes and some animals. But you can make the galaxy in one day.
Just snap your finger in the galaxy, man. Come on.
And then what a like. So like God just create a bunch of wasted space, because from what we know, it ain't no life on these other planets. In our galaxy anyway. We don't know about beyond the Milky Way. But Venus, Mars, etc. So what are these other celestial bodies for if they ain't got no inhabitants?
Right.
Like so they just there for no reason. God made Earth for us, but then he made these other planets for what? For who?
For who?
And you didn't even make the Earth right. Come to Georgia and experience this weather. You'll see it ain't right.
Hey, we look, bro. I tell people
we got bipolar weather.
I'm transparent. Cuz just took the words right out of my mouth. And I got bipolar too. And the weather in St. Louis ain't got nothing on my mood swings. Nothing.
Yeah, don't put away your summer clothes. Don't put away your winter clothes.
I'm trying to tell
you. Available, because every day is different.
It basically snowed yesterday, and that joint melted today. Like
it was cold
crazy
for us today. It was freezing. It was 40-something degrees in the 40s, but it felt like it was in the 20s.
We had almost 70. We went from 70 degrees to 9 degrees the next day.
Yeah, something right. Something right.
Something right. You know.
So you want to take some questions from the chat, bro? We'll take 3 people.
Yeah, they go ahead.
Let them ask their questions one at a time.
Ask a realist a question.
All right, and then we'll get ready to after we get our 3 people, we'll go ahead and close out. Let me get this link so I can put it in the chat. And
we gotta get you back on this.
Are they fussing in the chat?
Yeah, hey, that's how my chat always is, man. It be 2 or 3 debates going on in the chat. So, you know,
because on this channel, you know, is 5%ers, Moors, Hebrew Israelites, atheists, is everybody.
That's why I shout everybody out at the beginning of the show, because I know everybody gonna be in there. So I make sure I get everybody covered.
Man.
But yeah, bro, I definitely appreciate you coming on, man. Like I say, we've been following you for a while. So when I saw my brother Sabio had hooked up with you, I was like, oh man, I gotta reach out to this brother. I saw you going back and forth with my brother Leandre. And I was like, wait a minute, is that D? Is that the William Jones I think it is? Then I went on your page. I was like, oh, okay, let me link up with this brother. So yeah, Leandre, that's my man's in there, man. So, you know. And he clicked that link super quick. So we got Leandre in the field.
Okay. The kid.
You there, Dre?
very articulate.
Because I'm looking at you on my iPad, and I got it also on the phone, but it's a serious delay on the phone. I see from what I'm seeing here.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
tell you, took a mute on.
Can you hear me,
Throw
Dre?
your camera.
Yes. Back like it ain't happened.
Throw your camera. There you go.
Oh man, what the kid in
Brother
play
B.
hairstyle, bro?
Oh man, it's Black History Month right now, so I'm doing something
I'm
different.
with it. I'm with it. I ain't mad.
I'm doing something different. I was hoping the brother William Jones could tell us about this, the Bible in mass production. He made a comment about the Bible being in mass production. I was wondering if he could tell us what time period this was and about this Bible in mass production. I had a follow-up question once he tells us how the Bible is being mass produced.
Okay, I guess I'm not gonna tell you.
Yeah.
Question?
Yeah. So I kind of figured this because I told Pianki you were soft, you run from questions. So when you talk about the Bible being made, about the Bible being mass produced, and then you start talking about, and then you threw in the word transliterate, which was completely ridiculous because transliterate means to find different letters in the host language. And so you talked about this idea and this Roman push. So I was gonna ask you questions about this history and this whole concerted effort and this sort of controlling effort that Rome was using to sort of control people. And when you talk about the Bible being mass produced and this sort of thing, I was going to ask how this happened before the Gutenberg press, but it doesn't seem like an answer to that question because, as I said numerous times and in the groups several times, you're soft and you run from questions. Anytime you ever press with a question, you won't answer it. So again, if you would care to enlighten all of the people here about how the Bible is being mass produced before Johann Gutenberg, printing press, I'd love to hear more about that, and then how Rome was using this at a time before the Edict of Milan or Edict of Toleration.
It's funny. I just knew that you would show up, so I was prepared for you to show up. I think I need to explain a few things to you first, okay?
I think we're up because I think they're only going to take a couple questioners here, so I don't want to take anybody else's time. If you could focus in on the questions that I asked you, that would be the most beautiful thing.
Hold on. Yeah,
y'all can go because right now we don't have nobody else. So go ahead.
Yeah.
All right, let's pop it.
Right. We're gonna pop it. What's the title of this program?
William Jones enters Paradigm Shift TV 314.
Well, what's the rest of it say?
To break down why he left religion.
Bang. That's what I saw. See, that's what I saw. Okay. So let me be clear here. And I love to use analogies. I don't know how many of y'all here play spades. Do you play spades?
Well, I'm a spades player. I know nobody can beat me.
Everybody play spades here?
Here you go.
Where two or three are gathered, there I am beating people at spades.
Okay. When you show up at somebody's house to play spades, what's the first thing you got to ask?
I don't know. I'm in my 30s. I don't know what you boomers ask. I don't know, but I'm sure you'll get to.
No, my mother is a boomer. I'm not a boomer.
I was just about to say, damn,
I'm Generation X. I'm not a boomer. I don't know how old you think I am. I'm a Generation X.
Well, at some point in time, I guess you'll answer my question. I guess I don't know, but I guess I'll let you.
You know what? I might not. But answer this question: when you play spades? Does anybody can tell me the first question you need to ask when you show up at somebody's house to play spades?
Do they know how to play spades?
No.
They play with jokers?
This is the most important question to always ask when you sit down at somebody's house to play spades. What are the house rules?
Oh, yeah.
Because you can run a Boston, but if you didn't establish that before y'all start playing, it doesn't count. Okay? Now, that being said, this is my spades table. Okay? I establish the rules here. According to what I just seen, this is William Jones answering questions why he left religion.
Master P, I told you, big dog.
Hold on. I'm letting you know right now. Every time you interrupt me, I'm writing that down just so you know. I'm keeping an actual record. So watch this. Watch this. There's two things. You know, I don't even play spades anymore. You know why? Because if I don't play spades, I'm not subject to the rules of spades. So I taught my kids how to play spades, and I stopped playing. They said, "Why you don't play?" Because I don't want to be subject to the rules. I don't want to be subject to the attitudes. I just don't want to deal with spades anymore. So, guess who taught me 2 + 2 is 4? I don't know. But guess what? 2 + 2 is 4. So if you think I'm going to go through life writing down who told me every source and everything I learned, I can't tell you that. So I understand in the Christian world, you want to get me at your spades table, where in order for me to say anything, I have to give you sources for everything I say. And guess what? Guess what I'm not doing at my spades table?
Write that down, P.
Write it down. You can
You don't
write
have
it
to give sources for what he say.
Write it down. Because even your source was the first one that said something. Think about that. Your source was the first one that said something, and then later they became a source.
Shabaka, you ain't gonna tell him.
You can tell me whatever you want to tell me, but guess
Shabaka,
what?
you ain't gonna tell him. Ain't nobody gonna tell him.
What's your next question, Drake? Come on.
No. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'll tell you what. I just need 30 seconds. I only have another question because.
But hey, after you do this though, I want to ask you real quick about what we got coming up on the 27th.
Oh yeah. I'll most definitely be around. So here's what I want to say. Just a few seconds. Now, William Jones has been in numerous groups talking about how we don't have sources, we don't have evidence, and that sort of thing, right? And how there's the entire faith thing, and he talks about Christians making claims. This is what the same nonsense he said the entire time he's been on here about how nonsensical the Christians are for their views and for their positions. The man made a claim about mass production of the Bible, and I was sincerely wondering how such a thing could have happened. How it could have happened under Roman persecution before Johann Gutenberg and the movable type press. We didn't have the movable type press that China already had, and so there's all these things that he said here. I took note of several of them, and I was going to ask him about several of these claims because he won't ever do so in any of the groups. What's it? One of the brothers called William Jones a brother block and dodge because it's what he does. He blocks and dodges questions. And so what he'll do is William Jones will always jump on a post. He'll ask questions. And then he will never know what he's talking about, right? So in William Jones posts, he will post a 30, 40-year-old book talking about the Wellhausen hypotheses and having no idea about more recent research into the Wellhausen hypothesis or how a majority of people have abandoned such a view. They still use the language when they speak, but people don't. But that's just because it explains certain data in certain points and the way certain texts of scripture are written in the Old Testament. But he never has any idea what he's talking about. So I did all of this just because I'm going to take a snippet of this here. And every time I see Forehead there jump in the comment section, I'm just going to post a video where he dodges questions. So that's all I got for Brother William Jones. Thank you for doing what I knew you would do, Brother Block and Dodge. And now, Pianki, whatever you have.
Hold on. Before you leave, let me ask you a question.
No. You didn't ask me nothing, old man, because I asked you a question, you wouldn't answer it. So if you don't answer my question,
come on, Drake. Come on, bro.
Hang on. It ain't nothing wrong calling an old man. The man an old man. Look at him. Okay, I'm a young man. That's the thing. Yeah, you old.
Come on, man.
Are you gonna die? If you don't die, what will you become?
I'm sorry, that question didn't make any sense. But in either case,
if you don't die, what will you become?
I'm not answering the question.
Are you willing to die now, or you want to keep living?
Not answer the question, old man.
So is there something wrong with getting older?
I ain't asking this question because he ain't answered mine. What you got, P?
Come on.
All right, Drake, check it out.
Come on, Drake. Let me ask you a question, Drake.
February 27th, Drake.
Yes, sir.
We got you versus outside the cube.
Yes, indeed. He gonna get this work.
Is it logical to believe in the biblical God? Give me 20 seconds on what we can expect from this debate.
So one, well, hang on, before I start my 20 seconds, hang on. So once, I just want to point out again that the way that the proposition is, the proposition that Cube and I both agree to, it is not a discussion about whether any such God exists. It is logical to believe in the biblical God. So now I'll start. The biblical God is the best explanation for pretty much all of things. The reason we can sit back and have the sorts of conversations we're having now, where you could talk about truth, you could talk about being able to find truth, and talk about principles of induction, deduction, that sort of thing. Everything that we use in all of these conversations, and the conversation that we're having right now, all of these things depend on the existence of a God. What I will show is that this is an open admission of atheists, like actual thinking atheists, not the people like Cube or Mr. William Jones who've never actually had to wrestle with any questions. But this is the conclusion. This is the conclusion when you run through, well, really any of it, scientists, philosophy, whatever it is. And so without the biblical God, you need a God. The existence of any of these things requires the existence of a certain God with certain characteristics. And this is best explained. The evidence best explains the biblical God. And so that's what we'll talk about that day. I won't say too much more because I know Cube is wholly inadequate. And so you have a load of Google scholars. There's one man named Google scholars, but there's a load of Google scholars who rush to Google something that's said because they never spend any time wrestling with any of these subjects. So I'm going to wash them. It's going to be like 9/11 a day later, tragedy, destruction, terror. That's what it's going to be like on the day of the debate. So got that to look forward.
Hold on. Please let me ask him this question.
Go ahead, bro.
This is what I'm saying is, you have a whole foundation of knowledge. No. I don't even want to say a foundation of knowledge. You have a whole bunch of knowledge with no foundation. Let's just go to the first verse of the book of the Bible, which comes into question. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now, I'm a realist. So this is what I'm saying. Who was there to witness this and to record it?
So I'm going to answer this. And now, so I want to preface this by saying, I've told William Jones that he asks ridiculous questions that would have been answered in the children's Sunday.
Oh, so my question is ridiculous?
Yes, it's ridiculous. I'm going to answer your question, but I want to point out how childish of a question this is and with what ease. Now, so you'll notice my hands are here. I don't have to Google anything to answer this question because I've taught this to children. And so if what William does not know is what I've taught to children. Okay, so one, the fundamental claim of the first book of the Bible is that in the beginning, God created heaven and the earth. So who would have been there to witness it? God would have been there to witness it. It's the fundamental claim of Christianity. It's called the verbal plenary method, that scripture is recorded by God speaking through men. The same thing that 2 Peter says, 2 Peter chapter 1, verses, I think it's 18 through 20, that God spoke through holy men whom he carried along by the Holy Spirit. So who would have been there at the beginning? Well, God would have been there at the beginning. The entire claim of scripture in that 2 Peter passage that I just referenced is that God witnessed all of this stuff and that he used men to write this down. This is no question. It's not a question even physically. If you ask who wrote something, well, I would say I wrote it and then I used a computer to do so. The only difference in the verbal plenary method is that the verbal plenary method does not suppose that men themselves are robots, but that God used men with their language. And I'm sure maybe you're familiar with Vatz, the communication scholar. You familiar with Vatz or Biltzer? You familiar with either one of those people? I don't think you're familiar because it's not a problem with any contemporary thinker or any past thinker, right? So if I use an amanuensis, like for example, like we know Paul used an amanuensis when he wrote the book of Galatians, dictating something to some person and then writing it down is something that's common. It happens all the time. Okay, so it's not a problem. And I've taught this stuff to children. You don't have the knowledge that I've taught to children, sir. Okay, so who would have been at the beginning? Here's the answer to the question. God would have been at the beginning. How would this have been written down? God would have told someone to write such and such a thing down. Hey, here's what happened. It's no different than if I go sit in a court tomorrow and I sit on a witness stand and the stenographer sits there and types out what it is that I say. It's not a problem in a courtroom. It's not a problem today for modern book writers. It's not a problem for anybody sitting down at a computer. It's not a problem from using any text-to-speech services like you do on your iPhone. When I talk to my iPhone and my iPhone dictates what it is that I say, this is a children's question that a man sits here and talks about all of the knowledge that he has, and he does not know what I've taught to children. 6-year-olds know the answer to this question, and the old man William Jones does.
Are you finished? I mean, how long are you going to?
Right.
Hold on.
Go ahead, Will.
That's what I'm saying, because what I'm trying.
Now, are you going to answer my question? Are you going to answer my question now? I've answered yours on camera. You going to answer my question?
Oh, you talk,
answer my question.
Talk.
It doesn't matter what you got to say now.
Let me watch this.
Did you just invoke the Rock?
It seemed like it.
I most certainly did. He didn't answer mine. Turn on and ask me one. Now answer my question. Tell me about the mass production of the Bible. Tell me about it. You said it.
Hold on. First off,
Brother Dre, I never seen you so hyped.
Oh no, no.
I'm like, what?
No. He knows good and well why I'm doing this to him, because he gets his old self on these comment sections and he talks like he has some knowledge. And I told him to ask childless questions. And so,
all right, Dre, let him go. Let him go.
Come on.
No. Wait. One question.
Dre, let him respond. Let him respond.
Respond to my question, because I answered his.
Let him respond.
Dre, you at my space table, bro. First off, I'm listening to you. I'm not doing you like Google Scholar did. I'm not cutting you off. I'm letting you give your nonsense answer. For you to say that I'm talking, watch this. For you to say that my question was nonsense or whatever you said is ridiculous, because first off, you can't prove your God exists. I mean, that's like if somebody came here and said Zeus was real, then you'll be like, well, Zeus isn't real. Why? Because I believe my God. Allah isn't real. Why? Because I believe my God. Ahura Mazda isn't real. Why? Because I believe my God. You are basing a whole premise off of a God you cannot produce. I don't want to hear what Paul had to say when Paul never met a God. It's like the age-old debate on Facebook and YouTube about if the Hulk and Superman fought, who would win?
Me and my son had that argument earlier today.
Neither one of them exists. You're talking about your God as if he exists because you believe he exists. And if your God could tell somebody, well, I mean, I was like, who did he tell this to? Because there's 2 creation myths in Genesis. If he could tell them, why can't he tell us? Nobody was there to witness this. I'm saying your whole basis is in a bunch of knowledge, but you have no foundation, which is your God. You can't prove God. No one can prove a God.
Now,
you just prove. I'm still talking.
Hold on, Dre. Hold on.
You just prove that you've learned a lot of things that what people have said about a God, but you can't prove a God. And when I asked you on Facebook, what is it that y'all use to sell Jesus, you refused to answer me. I kept asking you, why believe Jesus? For what?
Lie again.
And hold on, watch this.
Lie again.
No matter what you say on why we should believe in Jesus, because salvation, can't prove that. Afterlife, can't prove that. Healing, don't do that. You're better than everybody else. That ain't true. You're protected from everything in life. That ain't true. The Christians are no different than those that don't believe. And you're not telling people who get saved that they got to know all these principles and this bullshit you talking about. You're not telling them at the altar, you got to go and learn all this theocratical nonsense in order to defend yourself, because you ain't going to have no actual power to prove this God. So you're going to have to learn a bunch of words and a bunch of theories and principles and a bunch of fallacies, because your God can't do shit. Basically, that's why I won't debate you, because when you come to my space table, guess what, bro? Your God don't got no trump cards. Now talk all you want to, but everybody listening know your God ain't no different than Zeus. Come on, talk about all your knowledge, but your God can't do shit.
Okay, so
hold on, Dre. We got Savior the scripture up in the building.
No, I need. Let me respond to TD Fakes.
Please, how you refer to me to a Christian?
Hold on.
I'm not even a Christian.
Dre, we gonna let
I know, and neither is
we gonna
TDP.
come back.
I'm not
Stay
even
on,
a
Dre.
Christian, bro.
Stay on,
Come
Dre.
on.
We're gonna come back to you. Let me let Savio go.
Come on, Porky Pig.
Yo, what up with it, Mr. Jones, Pianki, Shabaka?
What's up, bro?
I just had
What's up with it, brother?
I just wanted to ask Mr. Jones a question that I've been asking people in the back chat, and I haven't really gotten a answer to. We really didn't get to talk about Paul too much either, but I wanted to ask you if the Pauline letters were written before the Gospels,
Right.
why wasn't Mary or Joseph ever mentioned by Paul?
Yeah, because they wasn't part of his narrative of the story. I mean, if he wrote the story first, he doesn't have to include things that weren't there if he's talking about a celestial Jesus. If his Jesus was not a physical Jesus, then why mention the physical mother and Pilate and all these? He don't have to mention it because his Jesus was first.
His Jesus, the sky Jesus, was first, not this
Right,
not this
sky
person
Jesus
with a body.
was first.
Ain't that interesting?
Right. Thank you. Then the gospel of Mark Jesus, who starts with the baptism. He came to a baptism for the remission of sins, which doesn't imply he wasn't a sinless man, but he was coming to get baptized like everybody else, and then he was, as kings were back, like King David was, anointed with oil. And the anointing was what? The Holy Spirit. And then the sky God said, now this is my beloved son in whom I'm well pleased. But then we come later to the Matthew and Luke Gospels where they added other stuff. All this, which they don't agree, because in one, he's born in the days of Herod. In the other, he's born at the time of some census. 10 years apart. They don't even agree on his birth. The genealogies don't line up. Then they'll say, oh, well, one genealogy was about Mary and the other one was about Joseph. What does the goddamn book say? Both of the books say Joseph. We always got to come out of the book to explain the book. That's what I'm saying, man. All this wordplay with tennis, but it doesn't make sense in the book, and it doesn't make sense in real life. And as a person, and look, I have had 6 surgeries on my aorta. 6. When I went to Emory Hospital here in Georgia, and they wanted to go check my records, they said, we got more records on you than anybody else. And I'm saying, and I remember the first ones I had, I did all that praying crap. The last ones I did, I said, I don't even want to pray. I asked one of my surgeons, I asked him about, I don't even want to say his name. I asked him about miracles and God. And he was like, we'll talk about that here. He kind of gave me the look. I was a believer then, but he kind of gave me the, we'll talk about that here. We do training. My youngest son is an EMT, a sergeant in the fire department. He was a Christian. Now he does real life stuff in his training. They don't believe that miracle. They go in to do what they trained to do. And real, that's why I say I'm a realist. Because I don't want to hear what I got to believe and faith and what somebody said 200 years after Jesus, and they can't produce any effects now. You can't help me pay my mortgage now. I'm in Atlanta where I'm driving all day and I see homeless people and you can give them a prayer. They want some food. They want some money. The Jesus thing in 2022 is irrelevant. That's why I won't go into that arena of, scholarship says, because at the end of the day, it proves nothing. One of my cousins, he got a doctorate in theology, all that. But you got a doctorate in mythology, because at the end of the day, his church struggling after COVID with a couple of members they get. It doesn't make sense in the real. So you can tell me what I don't know, but I can tell you what I do know, and what I do know keeps me in my house. What I do know pays my car note, my car insurance, what I do know, does things in real life. I don't give a damn about an afterlife that you can't prove. I don't give a damn about healing that I'm taking medication for, and I got to get surgery for. I don't want to hear it. It's a bunch of mumbo jumbo. All these apologists do is, one, I'm going to say it, and if you're apologists, I want to say I'm sorry, but I'm not. They lie. They lie. They don't receive all information. They receive information that complies with what they want to believe. And they want to keep pushing this narrative. I mean, because you're raised, I did it. I tried to watch one of my own videos today that I did where I was speaking, and I cut it off because I knew it was utter nonsense, and I couldn't believe I was saying this shit. I'm sorry. Yeah. DeAndre, I know you know a lot of stuff. You know a whole lot of stuff, but the basics are, if you can't prove first, that your God is real, everything you say after that to me means nothing. I don't care about
before I get to the... Can you bust his head, Leandro, and prove that your God is real?
Yeah.
Right now?
Hold on, before we get to the man of rage with his Afro puff, let me say this. I feel what the brother's saying, and it's like this though. Like, and I ain't cuz gonna curse me out because I ain't even said this to him, I don't think. So I got what they call cancerous polyps in my colon, right? And the first thing that, you know, people close to me said when I found out about it was, I'm gonna pray for you. And I'm like, for what?
Go ahead.
I gotta get them. I gotta do what I gotta do and get them removed before they get worse and actually turn into actual colon cancer. And that's all it is to it. It ain't no, like, I can't, like, praying ain't gonna do nothing.
Nothing about
it. It ain't gonna solve the issue.
Nothing.
At the same time, though, I appreciate the sentiment of prayer. Like my mother,
yeah, because it shows how much they care.
Yeah, my mother went in the hospital not last week, but the week before, and I hit the brothers up, and I was like, "Hey, for those of you who pray. Everybody else, keep my mother in your thoughts, because I appreciate and respect the sentiment."
Yeah.
So, on one hand, for me, I tell a person, "Hey, man, don't waste your time praying for me, because I'm not there personally."
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this real quick. They just gave me this joint right here. You familiar with this?
Yeah, it looked familiar.
I can't
make it out.
I got the colonoscopy coming up.
Okay, yeah. I got to schedule mine.
Yeah, they just gave me that. I'm just saying, look, man, I'm telling you about, look, watch this right here.
Yeah, I'm 45, so I'm at that age.
Well,
so
watch this right here, homeboy.
No, I'm 40. I'm 46.
Watch this right here.
Yeah, hey.
I'm just saying, man. I got real cardiologists, folks that are studying me across the country, man. When I'm meeting people in the hospital, nobody they know my insides. I'm studied, and when they say, they'll be like, "This is Mr. William Jones," and they'll be like, "Oh, I've read all about you. You know, I've read all the reports and everything about you. I've never met you." And I thought it was miracles. When you come into their world, it's not miracles. They're studying. Why are they studying me if it's a miracle?
So God can give them the answer.
Shit. And see, but what it is though, I think that, like, it's some people, and I just say this, it's some people who, remember I said earlier, I was about to tell Shabaka, "Hey man, maybe you need to go back to church because I feel like it's some people who just need to stay in their paradigm.
They do.
And that's what best suits them, because in their mind they can't be a good father or a good mother or a morally upstanding person without that particular, like me.
Because
go ahead, cuz.
With those same people that you talk about, if they do have to go and get a surgery like Brother William Jones did, or are they going to go to the church to get the surgery, or are they going to go to the hospital?
They're going to the damn hospital.
But that's not the point,
because
that's not the point.
But my point is,
I know what he's saying. Go ahead.
I know exactly where he's going with it.
If they saying that God is the healer,
right?
And God get the credit, and God get the credit for the healing, then the people that the doctors and all of that is irrelevant. That means he can have one of us perform the surgery on Brother William Jones if he laid
Thank you.
Hey, you already know
15, 20 years to school.
You already know. I call people bluff all the time. I told them, like, hey man, it's y'all fault that COVID is running rampant, because y'all should be able to go up in these hospitals and lay hands on folks and get this stuff
Nobody
eradicated.
should die.
Like, what are y'all doing? So, but I mean, I'm joking, but just saying. But so I understand what you're saying, but that wasn't really my point. But let's get to the man of rage with his Afro puff and see who we gonna stump on. Go ahead, Trey.
Well, yeah. Well,
I was asking, can he prove God to William Jones right now?
Okay,
that's what I was asking.
So one, so I'll get it in just a second. So one, so here's the thing. So one, William Jones made this same exact argument. He never responded to me. August 25th of 2019. I just went and found the exact post again. August 25th, 2019. He's still talking about prayer not working and all this kind of stuff like this. And what I did is I posted several studies to him on this post in Woke Christian Conscious Community, August 25th, 2019. This post and several other. I posted several studies that challenged everything that all of you just said up here on the stage. Now, so here's the thing. Do you know that the majority of the 1,100 doctors that were surveyed in this study report having prayed for their patients, and over 59% of them report having miraculous, unmedically explainable results of their prayer? Now that challenges all of the non-doctors up here on the panel right now, because the doctors say there was a miraculous event that took place here. William Jones is not a doctor. He's also not a scholar. He said he doesn't refer to scholars. I read studies, so I know that that's something that exists. I know that this is something that's a reality. But why are doctors praying for patients? Because the men up here are all seem to have this idea that God works only through the miraculous, that God only works through supernatural means. And that right there does not logically follow from anything, especially not anything that the Christians have put forth. The Christians don't put forth simply that God only works when it's something that challenges.
Let me know when they finish. I'll be back.
Yeah, you see his stomach. Listen, anyway, here's the thing. The Christian, now listen, and the thing is, and he knows this, every time he comments, now listen, I started out trying to dialogue, and I will always match your energy. I started out trying to dialogue with him, but see, he'll run, right? This is what he does. That's brother.
Let me ask you this, Dre, because you mentioned something about the doctors, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if it's God, then it is, by virtue of being God, it's still supernatural, right?
Well, no, it doesn't have to be supernatural, because God also works through natural means. So God can work through the natural.
Example.
Well, like the doctors is one example. Like, for example, so one of the things that we talked about just a second ago, is in saying that the Bible is God's word doesn't negate the fact that God used men to do so. He used men who are part of the natural world, the natural order, part of the biosphere specifically, part of the natural order confined to natural laws to accomplish certain purposes. Everything.
So because I just got to figure this out. Because a doctor prayed, that mean that God is working through the doctor?
No.
Because the doctor still has
No.
perform whatever the task was that he was performing, right?
Hold on.
Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second.
Go ahead. I'm gonna show you something.
Give me 1 second, William.
I got an article. like I
Well,
did
I'm
the
just
last time,
curious.
Keontae, the shooting down.
while
You
he
know, he
talking
be
Give
being
me
about
one. Give me 1 second,
disingenuous.
Savior. Let me in. Let me in my little bro rock, because I'm just trying to. I just want to make sure, because hey, I'm a high school dropout. I always tell my brother Dre that. So I just want to make sure I'm clear. I work with the slow gases sometimes. So because the doctor, like, how is it that we saying that God worked through these doctors?
Well, no,
Because
you
they
mix.
still have the requisite skill to do what they they got to do,
No,
regardless if they prayed or not, right?
no, you mixed two things that I said. What I said was
Okay.
that doctors pray, and over 59% of them having reported that there was a miraculous way that their patients were healed without their intervention.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now, that's without intervention. Now, William Jones can shake his bald head all he wants to, but that's what the study says. Now, I posted it to him. I'm looking at the post right here, August 25th, 2019. And here's what it says. This is me reading from. And so here's the thing. He does not
So
submit.
even
reading
the
from
they may not have even
something
prayed.
somebody else said.
Real quick, they may not have even prayed, but it still may have been some miraculous thing that occurred within
in this.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, in this
Can
particular.
you prove it was God?
Okay.
No. Hold.
Okay. So
Let's go back.
Go ahead.
Let the man array.
Back to reality.
Let the man array. Let him finish, William, and then we're gonna get right back to you.
No. I'm gonna tell you what. I don't need to let him finish because this is my show.
Can you mute the bald dude? Because I was in the middle of saying something.
No, mute you because this ain't your show.
You don't actually want to hear the argument.
No,
real quick. Hold on, everybody. He make a good point. He is the guest, so
thank you.
I can't
here today.
I can't front.
No. Watch this. No,
I promise you this. If you just told me, you told me that William Jones is finished.
I don't need to hear
You asked me a question. You're not gonna let.
I was.
Because I don't need to hear your answer.
I was.
Now listen.
Let me say this. Let me say this to the brother. I just want to be clear. I did want to hear what you had to say, but the brother, he is the guest. It's his show.
Thank you.
So I do got to give him preference. So
I hope you remember this. I hope you remember this in the future.
Yeah, remember this in the future.
I will.
Watch this. Because while he's talking about studies, I'm the one that was cut up. I'm the one that has lived with this. I'm the one that has a paralyzed vocal cord. I'm the one that got the scar on my neck. I'm the one that flatlined and they had to get blood to my brain after I was dead for 10 minutes. I'm the one got the scar on my goddamn chest. I'm the one that's cut the fuck up on my side. But you want to tell me what studies said when I lived it and still live with the residuals of this surgery? But you want to tell me what a goddamn study say? Do you know what I deal with today when I had to relearn how to walk? When I was in the wheelchair, had to be on a walker? You're talking studies and what God did, and I'll tell you how I had to get my ass off the couch and try to walk to the driveway and couldn't make it. Try to walk to the stop sign and couldn't make it. Try to walk around the block or couldn't make it. But you're talking about studies and what God did, and I'm telling you what I did. I live with this every day of my life. Do you have this? No, you don't. All you can do is tell me what some studies said, and I'm a realist. I'm telling you real life. I'm the one with the scars in my neck. Scars. I can't even show you all the scars I got, like I've been in a sword fight. But you want to talk to me God stuff. This is what I'm telling you. And you can't produce your God. You're talking about studies, but you still ain't produced a God. And because of who I am, the top surgeons, they come to me to do the surgeries. I don't go to, I had a lady kept asking me, oh, ask for Dr. Chin. Oh, ask about Dr. Chin. Oh, Dr. Chin, he's one of the best. Ask about Dr. Chin. I said, what's his number? I wrote it down. Oh, Dr. Chin. And I said, I'm going to call him. I didn't even call him. I went to my doctor and they said, yeah, he's not going to be your doctor no more. Somebody else took your case. Who else? Who took it? Dr. Chin. So Dr. Chin found me. They know who I am, the top surgeon. And watch this. Somebody told me, they said, even a surgeon that makes all C's is still a surgeon. He's still a surgeon. Understand that. But why do we want the top surgeons? If somebody working on your brain, you don't want just the one who got all C's. He lost a few here and got a few here. You want the top ones. Your God does not come into play. And you can say they pray over their people, but when I talk to my surgeons about God, because I was curious, it's a conversation. They say, why am I learning all of this stuff? For you to give all my credit to a God? No.
Hey, you know who would be good for? I think it'll be good for me to get y'all together. William is my brother. Nobody who trust and believe the gospel. Like you, he has surgeons because he has a unique prognosis. So he has surgeons actually come to him to do surgeries. He has the same. You familiar with Andre the Giant, the wrestler?
Yeah.
He has the same. He has the same condition that he had, and so it's only a few people in the world with this condition, and so he has surgeons come to him, and he only 36, 37, had open heart surgery, stuff like that, and so similar to you, different scenario, but he has top surgeons actually come to him to do work. The difference though is that he believes in divine intervention, whereas obviously you don't. So I like to see y'all have a conversation on the
I did in the beginning. I did in the beginning, but after I came out of it, like my mom, everybody, we want to pray for y'all. I said y'all can do that in the hallway, but I don't need it. Why did Dr. Chin he even left and restarted his own thing? Why do the top surgeons, not regular surgeons, top Dr. John Puskas, Dr. John Merlino, Dr. Chin, Dr. Jordan, why are they looking for me? Because one, they knew, I asked Dr. Puskas, he did 2 surgeries. I said, I was 39 on the first when I had my aorta was splitting. Aortic aneurysm, aortic dissection was the first one. That's what John Ritter from Three's Company, I'm old, so you probably know about that. I'm old.
I'm old too, so I know.
I'm old.
Yeah. John Ritter died from that. And then I had an aortic aneurysm where they had to split me. I got a 2.5-foot scar that starts from my back, comes under my arm down to my belly button, where they laid me out flat, where they had to remove my lungs from the wall, remove my diaphragm from the wall. My stomach ain't right today, which I gotta have an endoscopy on the 14th of April with a colonoscopy, but from such stuff from that. The stuff I have dealt with, I lost the vocal cord. The things I have dealt with, I survived. I've survived, but I've almost died so many times just in my sleep that if I'm just saying, man, the whole God thing, I believed it at first, but I don't anymore. Matter of fact, the first one I had, when I had the surgery, and I flatlined for 10 minutes, they brought me back, and my uncle, he's in the medical field, he was like, I told him you would probably flatline after the first surgery. He's been in for over 40 years. He already knew what was going to happen. We thought it was a miracle. He expected it. It was nothing. It was one of my cousin's wives. She was like, I had called him. I was watching your thing the whole time. They in their world, they already knew what was going to happen.
Have you spoken about the surgeries that you, like all the stuff you've been through? Have you spoken about it on your channel? Because I had no idea, and I may have just missed.
Yeah. Yeah, he talked about it.
I have spoken about it slightly. Matter of fact, when I was a Christian, I did a song called Testimony of a Lazarene. It's on my channel. And I talked about it as a realist, saying, I did this song at that time, but about what happened, thinking everything was miracles. That's what I thought. is testimony of Lazarus. It's on my page, right? But I know now it's not miracles. It's just what happens. You know, it's a miracle to us that don't see it every day. But to those that see it every day, they don't call it miracles. When Althea, like I said, the song, when she shocked me 4 times to bring me back, she's a Christian, but she shocked me 4 times to bring me back. But I was 39 years old. They kept saying, you're so young, we know you can pull through it. If I might have been 69, they just like, let him go. They're like, he's 39, he can make it. My age is what made them do it. And I'm smaller now, but when I was lifting weights and was all huge, and the doctor said, well, them days you was lifting weights and got your heart strong, had you not done that, you probably wouldn't have survived. So it wasn't a miracle. It was things that I had actually done.
Yeah,
so
I got
Man,
I had
man,
my daughter.
real quick before you go, cuz
Go ahead.
my phone is about to die, and we supposed to be. I'm supposed to take the kids out to this little spot or whatever, so they can get some entertainment.
For sure.
But
for sure.
I gotta say, peace to brother Dre. You know what I'm saying? I never seen you that turn before, you know, but hey, it is what it is. And I gotta say, man, it's been a pleasure, man, brother William Jones, man. We gotta get you back on the channel. You know what I'm saying? And you know, just keep on doing what you've been doing, and you know, keep on doing just keep it up, brother. I like what you're doing. I continue to listen to your stuff, your content when it come out. You know what I'm saying? Like I say,
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of my stuff is similar, but you know what I'm saying?
Do
I just
your
want to
thing,
say
bro.
peace to all you brothers, and you know, much love and salute to everything that everybody doing, and just keep doing what y'all doing, man. And I'm
There
out
you
of
go.
here.
Hey, cuz,
Peace.
And
real
one
quick.
thing before I leave, go ahead, go.
Hey, no, I was gonna say, show that shirt. Shout out to Andre Boyce over at Passport Global. God is good, but money is better.
Gotta have that money.
Shout out.
I just
Go ahead,
want to say, you
do
know,
your thing, cuz.
knowledge
Word
is infinite, therefore evolution is inevitable. Peace.
Peace,
Peace.
cuz. Peace.
Hey, let me say this too, that brother leaving, but with Leandre, I think some of them I don't really like. You know, I'm honestly, I mean, I just think that some of them bad people. Really, I do. You know what I'm saying? And I'm watching the brother. You know what I'm saying? It's like just talking. No, I don't agree with everything he say. I don't think. For some reason, people, you know, when you come into the leaving religion world, everybody thinks that everybody who left religion agree with each other, and they don't.
Exactly.
No, the
Come
hell
on,
we
be like, I'm
don't.
spiritual.
Me and my cousin don't agree. Me and Sapio
No,
don't agree. Yeah.
you don't agree. Everybody don't agree. But even my kids left religion. One of my daughters, I was pissed with her because she left before I did. And I was like, I'm supposed to do everything first. How you find out stuff before I did? And she had left, and they kept it on the low, like, don't let daddy know that she done left religion, because you know he gonna snap. You know, I went off. So, you know, I kind of, you know, I think some of the stuff for them was better because, you know, I mean, I left because I even when I put a Christmas tree up and started doing Halloween, one of my daughters was like, she posted on Facebook, I'm feeling some type of way. He would never let us do Halloween, wouldn't have no tree and that. Now all of a sudden, now you want to do it? Like, what's up? Like, you robbed us all these years, now you're passing out candy. Well, all I'm saying is, I mean, like Leandre, we won't agree. I mean, basically, we won't agree. And I know you are where you are. As I listen to my old music as a Christian rapper, I'll listen to it today. And I don't agree with me then. And people are like, how can you listen to your old music because you ain't a Christian no more? It's still my music. I made the music. Yeah, I don't agree with what I said, but it lets me know what I was thinking at that point in my life. And the rhymes was still tight. You know what I'm saying? It was, I mean, according to the tradition, the rhymes was tight. I was doing it for my time. But I don't agree with what I said, you know.
Right.
And,
I can relate.
And what I'm saying is, everybody where we are is not always where you'll always be. We're continually evolving. We change all the time. It's kind of crazy to be somebody years later and they still the same person. I think that's weird. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so you mean you still driving the Trans Am from high school?
Right. Ain't nothing changed.
Living
Nothing.
in the garage? You know, that's just not the same. So I mean, Leandre, I mean, you do you, because only look, like I say, I'm perfect. Maybe like nobody is perfect. I did a video about being perfect. I'm perfect. I'm perfectly me. You can imitate me. You can imitate Barack Obama. You can imitate a lot of people, but only I can be me. And I can only walk my journey. You can only walk your journey. He walks his journey. And wherever you end up, that's where you end up. But we don't always have to agree in what we do. One of my close friends, he's 72 years old. And he believes there is a creator. I don't, but we still cool as crap. You know what I'm saying? He's older than me. I respect him because he's older than me. And I can't say I know more than him because I believe this, he believes that, because he still got years on me. And there's certain things he tells me that, I mean, you know, I might have certain book knowledge he might have, doesn't have, but at the end of the day, when I listen to him, I still learn from him. You know what I'm saying? That's why we still talk. My grandmother, she's 89. They old school. You ain't changed. You know, we don't even talk about religion. She pray over me, Jesus, whatever, this, that, third. That's what it is. But, you know, respect thing. And like, I'm not going to say to her, oh, you old. No, that's experience. And if you don't die, you get old. That's just what happens. So
Yep.
That's just what it is. I mean, so, bro, I mean, you go ahead and say what you think. But, I mean, I'm going to believe what I believe. I never see these things change anybody. I've never seen anybody change. Everybody changes when they want to change. So, I mean, you can give me your information. Like I gave you my information. I doubt my information changes you. Like I doubt your information will change me. But for the people that's listening, they probably want to hear when you speak. Then you go ahead and give your spiel. It might be my segment as I thought it was, and he's done it. You've respected me like that, P. So you respected me like that. So, but also for the people that's listening to him and want to hear both sides, Leandre, you go ahead and do your thing. I ain't even got to mute my thing because I'm not going to interrupt you. Boom, go.
Yeah, but before the man of rage go, I just want to say I can relate to you with your old rap music, because I've been hesitating for about 2 years now putting out my poetry book, because most of it I wrote when I was a Christian. So it's very religious centric, you know. Yeah. And I'm like, man, I ain't really trying to put that out. And I was looking at it sitting there, and I was like, I told my wife today, I was like, you know what? Let's put it out. Because I kept saying I'm gonna add to it and kind of show the progression to where I'm at now. And I'm like, you know what? That's gonna be volume 1, and then volume 2 will be more so, you know, where I'm at now. But because I'm like, otherwise it's just gonna go, all that stuff I wrote is just being wasted.
Right.
So I'm gonna go ahead and put it out. But I you know, I know some people when they read it, they're gonna be like, wait a minute. But it is what it is. They steal my words, and it's how I felt at the time. And so, you know, but yeah, I definitely can relate to it. And they the poems are still
the lyrics is nice,
and they still hit, you know what I mean? So
yeah, I still got my Christian rap stuff on YouTube because I don't have it on any other format. And when I want to listen to it, I can pull it up. So I was listening to my stuff today. I mean, I was like, man, no, I mean, it was some stuff I'm saying, because when I wrote about a lot of things, it was what was going on in my actual life. Like I got one called Take No Thought. And like I said, you can look it up. It's under Be Love the Prophet. My 12-year-old son did the beat. Exactly. And me and my wife was going through a split up, and I had gotten laid off after that, and things was just piling up, and he made this sad beat based on what was going on in our lives, because he went through it too. And I'm like, I said, what made you write? Why is the beat so sad? And he was like, because you know what he was going through the situation too. So the beat sounded sad, and then I'm writing this sad rap on what's going on with me. And I just lost my job. I'm separated, and I don't know what my next move is. And they call Take No Thought based on what Jesus said. And I was listening to it today. It made me water up because that's where I was at 36.
Yeah, exactly.
I lived it. When I listened to Testimony of a Nazarene, my eyes normally water because I lived it. I lived it. It's still my life. Whether I agree with the theology behind what I believed, I still live the actual story.
Those were still your experiences.
It's mine. So when people say, you still listen to your own music, it's my music.
Right.
So I'm just saying, like I said, Leandre, I mean, you got a whole lot of living to do. I hope you do. I hope you live longer than I live. And wherever direction you go, that's where you go.
I hope this Joker live to that Afro puff is nice and white, so I can sit back and say, "Now you the old man." But go ahead.
If I show you my old hair picture with cornrows and stuff sticking up my head, you be tripping.
Hey, I'm just. Hey, you did me. I like I told you, it was an honor to have you on, but it was just good having another ball brother on, because usually everybody else that come on, as you saw my cousin Dre and even Sabio, all these jokers got long hair. So I'm just glad to have another ball brother on with you. But go ahead, Dre.
Go ahead, Dre.
After you get your spiel, go ahead and give a shout out to that debate on the 27th and close out.
Yeah, so I want to say, and I'll be brief because I know y'all been on here a minute. So I want to say a couple things. One, here's the area where I sympathize with everybody's talk so far. There is part of the reason I do what I do is because there are churches like the ones that seemingly that most of the people who have been up here today have grown up in, where I don't think that they were. I think that they were particularly anti-scholastic, where it wasn't about learning, it wasn't about teaching.
Not mine. Stop it. I still
not mine either. Not my churches either.
Go ahead. Let's not interrupt them. Go ahead, Greg. My bad.
So I know in a lot of places there's not a high degree of sort of apologetic things. Think whatever you will about apologetics, but that's about being able to give an answer to questions and stuff that are asked. That's the base definition of what it means to do apologetics. Be able to answer questions that are asked of you when someone asks about the faith that you have. So that's where I sympathize. Where I part ways is where what people have done is they have taken the limited knowledge and limited experiences and then cast that on an entire larger system as if they know really anything about it. And so majority of the time when I encounter people in these dialogues, they're making very, very simple mistakes. Ones that, again, like I said, that I try to make sure that I share up with children when I talk to them. Now, that being said, I did want to respond to just to a couple of things. One, when I was citing my study earlier, it was for a reason. It's because that's not just something that I made up. And to respond to that with something anecdotal, we're like, well, that wasn't my experience. Well, that's really irrelevant. Your particular experience has nothing to do with the aggregate. You can find exceptions to all sorts of things, but what was stated was, and I typed it out, to those that see this, to see it every day, they don't call it a miracle. And at the very same time, that very same person laughed at the study where it was stated that 55% of doctors said that they have seen treatment results in their patients that they would consider miraculous. Thus, of the 1,100 physicians examined, 605 claimed to have witnessed a medical miracle. Most physicians pray for their patients as a group, 51%, even more, 59% pray for individual patients. So this idea that because his doctors may have said something means that doctors and the people who see it every day don't consider such and such a miracle. So that's a response to that. And no, you cannot respond to some study with something anecdotal. It really doesn't matter. That's not how anything is done. So, somebody says, hey, there's a whole slew of black cats over here in the forest. Somebody says, well, I've only ever seen white cats in my neighborhood. Has nothing to do with anything. Has nothing to do with the aggregate, the amount of 6,000 black cats in the forest over here. It's just nonsense. In either case, the notion that you're going to reject studies and that sort of thing and then ask for proof and evidence of God. I think most time people who aren't actually trained in logic, aren't trained in evidence or in law or in these sorts of burdens, they throw these words around. They never have any idea what they mean. And they'll say, that's not evidence, that's not proof. Well, that's the separate subject entirely. what I've presented is evidence. And then there's a such thing as proof. And when such a thing is presented, people just say that that's not it. But I guarantee you, none of the people who ever make those sorts of statements have ever had any training in logic or argumentation. I guarantee it. And I would welcome anybody trying to prove me wrong. So so in either case, Mr. William, I don't dislike you, sir. So I don't dislike you. I think you're funny, and I think you dodge questions. So for what it's worth. But either way, on the 27th, you're gonna see Mr. Outside the Cube get this work. He's gonna get all of it because he likewise is a gentleman who does not know about any of the words that he uses, and he yet uses them. It's like most of the people, some of the people who are up on this panel, not you, Mr. William Jones, or you, Pianki, but some other people who are up here use words that they don't understand all the time. And so on that day, you're gonna see a dog walking because I'm gonna body dude. So tune in on the 27th, and and watch somebody who's actually trained in logic, show that it's logical to believe in a biblical God.
My man, ladies and gentlemen, that's why I call him Mr. Logic. And we'll see you on the 27th, my brother. And y'all look out for that Outside the Cube versus Leandre. Is it logical to believe in the biblical God? That should be a banger. Go ahead, Sabio, close out when you finish.
Yeah, I just wanted to say this. There was a lot of pontificating going on here from a person who thinks he's an intelligent person who thinks that it's logical to believe in God. That's neither here nor there. Your logic falls short when you actually think that there's something outside of you doing anything. But there was something that was mentioned earlier about doctors praying and believing in miracles and things like that. Most doctors will because I have a similar experience where I was stabbed and I was pronounced dead on arrival. But when I woke up out of my coma 2 days later, the doctor who operated on me and his crash team, they didn't ever say they said a prayer or anything, but they did say it was a miracle that I was alive, that I survived the stab wound because of all the damage that was done to me and my body. I lost 3 pints of blood. My large intestine was cut. I had a collapse, a puncture, a nicked lung, a nicked lung. There was the damage was extensive, so the doctors did not expect me to survive. So they said it was a miracle that I survived. But the doctor who operated on me, he never once said anything about a God. He said that it was his training that took over when he seen the damage. His training that took over. He had went to school for years to be a gastroenterologist, a person who works on the stomach, and he had to do something to attempt to save my life. So right then and there, that whole shit about doctors believing in miracles, it kind of gets fuzzy, because yes, they will say things like that when miraculous things happen, when things that they really don't know how to explain happen, like me recovering from a stab wound where most people would have died, and the things that Brother Jones has been through. So again, we have to stop allowing people who believe the book before they read the book to act like they're smart, because that's exactly what's going on. He believed the book before he read the book, as we all did. We was all taught to believe that this God and this Jesus are real entities and they intercede in our life when we pray to them and we ask them to do things. But this is before we actually were reading the book. We were told these things at the ages of 2, 3, 4, before we could understand any of the things going on in the book. But as you get older and you start learning about textual criticism, the historical method, Bereshit, and all these other things, your knowledge should expand. So sometimes you can be smart, but sometimes your knowledge will sell you short.
True.
With that, I'm out.
True that.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the Scripture Ripper. I'm still trying to find somebody that can have a dialogue or a debate with him, but it just seemed like I can't find nobody willing to step up. So if you're willing to step up and have a dialogue with the Scripture Ripper on the Ottoman Empire or on Paul and whether or not he was teaching a different doctrine from Christ, get at me and we can do it. All right. My brother William Jones, I appreciate you coming on, brother. I gotta have you back. This
Oh
was
yeah,
an
no
honor
doubt, no doubt.
and a pleasure. Let the people know where they can find you, what you got going on. And like I say, hopefully we can get you back on here again.
All right, so I'm on YouTube. If you just Google William Jones Leaving Religion, all my videos pop up. Once you see one of them, just click on it, bang, and subscribe. Watch the videos; they're right there. And the purpose of my videos is not for believers. The page was created as a support system for those who have left religion. That's why it's called Leaving Religion. I'm not trying to convince you of anything. You've already convinced yourself, or you've come to the conclusion something's not right with religion, and you're looking to see a different perspective or see the Bible spoken about basically is what the Bible says and according to history. So it's a support system for those who have left, because I get a lot of people, and what's sad is the amount of people that hit me up saying how their families have cut them off, their friends have cut them off. And I experienced that myself. A lot of people I was teaching and what have you, just like, oh, Satan got your brain, you going to hell. And they just, I had nobody, you know what I'm saying? So I just spoke out. You asked me that, like, why did you start it? Because I was, first it was like what most people was like, well, how about just lie to them and get the money? But I was like, I can't do that. I'm sorry. I'm just not one of those people to lie and get the money. So I just told my story and people started following. So I started teaching the Bible for what the Bible says and not for what I was told what the Bible says, like Sabio just said. You know what I'm saying? So William Jones Leaving Religion. And I got the page on Facebook. Facebook, if you want to join, called Leaving Religion. For those that want to join there, you'll see the white Jesus with the holes in the hands cartoon picture. If you want to go there as well, and you shall find me. That's where I am.
Yeah, and believe it or not, it's actually a decent resource for people who are no longer in the religious paradigm, because for this reason, and I say this, like for me, it didn't happen, but it almost did. And I tell people this all the time. When I stopped being a Christian, for those who don't know, my wife is still a Christian, and she was raised in church. The reason I got into church was when I started dating her. Because I wouldn't, unlike my cousin Shabaka, I wasn't raised in the church. Now, I had read the Bible. So like Sabio said, most people haven't read the Bible, and they believe. I had read it and then started believing later on. And so, but I started going to church because I was dating her. And so when after 20 plus years, we'll be married 25 years in August. So after 20 plus years of being married, and then I walk away from this belief, it was devastating for her. And I thought we was gonna get divorced, like for real.
Yeah,
And
it's real. It's real.
To have other people to bounce those type of things off of, like you got family members calling you crazy, talking about the devil got your mind and all this crazy shit. Like to have other people to bounce that off of in a group like that, it can sort of help you sort of migrate through those personal landings.
Yeah.
Because outside of my cousin Shabaka, at that particular time, I ain't had nobody else to talk to about it. And I was like on an island, like, I'm not cheating on this woman. I'm more responsible money-wise than I ever been in my life.
Right.
I'm more faithful to her than I ever been.
Like, you are deserted. You are deserted.
And she talking about divorce. I was like vexed, but I couldn't believe it. I'm like, all because I ain't trying to. So, but then at the same time, understanding how foundational that belief is to who she is. And so it was definitely like, it was like a 1.5, 2 year period where it was like up and down. Like anytime something like that, like a question or anything came up, bam, we in an argument where, and it was crazy. But then check this out, bro. I started this channel and I had like the most rinky-dink equipment you ever want to see in your life. Like my camera, I look like a bad cartoon on my camera. She bought me all my equipment. And then she turned around and said the Lord told her to do it. And what's crazy though is I have Christian brothers that support the channel. I got 5%ers. I got a Muslim brother who he ain't been on the channel yet, but I dialogue with him all the time. So I got people from every part. That's why I shout everybody out. I got a Hebrew Israelite brother from the ISUPK. I talked to him last night. Yeah, 10K. That's my brother. My mother was in the hospital. My man hit me up like, hey, you need me to come sit with you? So like these are my brothers. And so I've been able to build these relationships through this platform and you know, on Facebook and otherwise.
Yeah.
So it's been a interesting, you know,
look, I did a video where my mom called me like when I left, and I was posting certain things on Facebook. And mind you, like I said, we're a highly religious family, right? And I got one of my cousins that runs a mega church, but I'm not gonna mention him or the church. And they even satellited from Virginia to here. You know, it's a mega church, right? So, and my mother hit me up like, stop all this God stuff. And I'm like, Mama, I got a grandson, my own house. I'm like, 47, and you're telling me what not to post on Facebook. I'm a grown man, you know what I'm saying? But I did a whole video because it hit me a certain way where even now, that's why I even did the Leaving Religion group. I did the Leaving Religion group because people could ask for it. But I don't post everything on my page because I'm still respectful to my aunts, my uncles, you know what I'm saying? Family members who are still Christians that I can't post cussing stuff and sexual stuff because that's still what I'm grown, but I still can't do it.
But you still, yeah.
And I don't really advertise my channel on my page on Facebook.
Yeah.
I mean, they know, and none of them will come against me because they know I know the Bible, but I still, it's just, in our family, respect is a big thing.
Yeah, I feel you. I unfriended a lot of people in the family just so they wouldn't see certain things I posted, and then made a separate Facebook page where it's only family members and friends I went to school with, like in my government name, just so they know, hey, I ain't mad at you or nothing, but what I do over here ain't for you. I don't want you to get in your bag about it. So I understand exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, so I mean, it's that deep.
Yeah, it's like that. But unfortunately, when these religious concepts become so part and parcel to who people are, they can't help but take it personally. Like you have Christian apologists for that very reason. Like and people be like, well, such and such said this about this. And I have to explain, like, hey, he said that because in the quote unquote conscious community, they've been saying this for this amount of years. And so it's just a clap back for that. And they said this in the conscious community. So, they said this in the Christian community. So they said this in the conscious, because I understand all of it. So I don't get mad at this person. I don't get mad at that person. It's just now when you come at me a particular way, then it is what it is. But the back and forths, I understand how tribal it is because this is like part and parcel to who they are. Everybody then dug in they particular camp. I tell people all the time, I got a brother who be like, I don't want to talk to nobody who ain't open-minded. Well, then you don't need to talk to nobody because you're not trying to change their mind. You talking to the audience, Doc. You ain't changing their mind. They are who they are. So, but yeah, man, I'm definitely gonna have to chop it back up with you again.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do another video, like I said, because like when I'm doing my videos, I'm not speaking to people who believe. Mm-hmm. So I can speak and I don't know if you know, like back in the day, we smoked joints, not blunts, joints.
Right, right.
Everybody that was high understood what the high person was saying. If you were sober, it didn't make sense to you.
It didn't make dog sense.
But everybody that was high was laughing and joking, and that's how it was. So that's what I'm saying. It's on Facebook, yeah, we're talking. I don't really expect to convert anybody, not really trying to, but I like to do the leaving religion where I'm speaking to people who already left, and we're past that hurdle, and we can just talk the way we talk, and they understand it. We don't have a problem with it. So it's what it is. Like that's why I don't understand with the debates. Why would I want to debate in a Christian circle? Because if the whole audience is Christian, they're not going to receive anything I'm saying. And if I bring that same audience,
I always feel like it is more or less, you know, it might be somebody in there that was like me, who kind of teetering, and something I say may spark something in their mind, or they may need to stay Christian, and they may be like, you know what, I ain't there yet, or that ain't. I want everybody to be where they supposed to be.
That's what it supposed to. Yeah, I probably did so much debate in groups that it messed me up.
Yeah, you get jaded. Hey man, I had got to a point a couple months ago. I was like, hey man, you know what? I'm not talking about Christianity no more. Like I'm sick of this. Like I'm not doing it. Like y'all want to keep talking about Christianity, like y'all go ahead. I'm not doing it no more. But then, you know,
right.
you get back in your bag, and then, you know, it'd be like, all right. So I try not to debate. I try to just host, but every now and then somebody say something that's sticking my craw, and I'll be like, hey, fuck it. Let's go ahead and do it. So, right. You know, but I tell Leandre all the time, I stick to the rivers and the lakes that I'm used to, because, you know.
I love when you say that.
Yeah, the like people like him, you know, the man of rage with his Afro puff trying to take you out in deep water, thinking you, like, I'm not the Black Aristotle. And I'm not trying to.
I'm not going to go there.
It's all, I'm common sense ain't common, but I feel like I got a lot of it. Right. So I just stick to what I know, and that's where I'm at. I'm like Will Smith. You ever seen that movie Hitch? And he's teaching a white dude how to dance, and he like, oh,
yeah, you stay right here.
Yeah, that's where I live, right there. I ain't trying to go outside of my spirit. So
this you right here.
Exactly. That's you. That's me. So I'm not trying to go outside of that. But my man, he always try to take me to Plato, Aristotle. I'm not. Hey man,
look,
I'm sticking to the rivers and the lakes. I never learned to swim. Can't catch the rhythm of the stroke. Why should I hold my breath, man? That I'm not.
Listen, I got one of my homeboys. He's very knowledgeable. And he would never really engage when I was a Christian. He just wouldn't do it because, and I get it now. Like, you're just not ready for where I am. He wouldn't engage. But after I came out, he hit me up and said, he came to me when I did my public Facebook post and said that I left religion. He said, yo, they talk about you in other groups. You know that guy that was always debating and saying whatever? It was like, yeah, he left. And people was like, wow, he left? Like, yeah, he left religion. And he came back to me. He jokes me about it now, like when he throw the stuff on me, or they'll try to copy my memories on Facebook. And I'm like, well, y'all stop playing with that shit, man. Stop playing.
Right.
When I was saying all this, they're like, I was like, yeah. My daughter did that shit. I hit her up like, stop playing with that bullshit, man. It was like, is this you?
I got a cousin that's his favorite thing to do. I remember you standing in church and saying, and I'd be like, bro, I get it, but that ain't how I feel no more. Like, why you keep
no more?
But I understand, man. It's sentimentality and all of that, and it's all good. But yeah, man, you change, and it's cool. You know, no big. But yeah, man, we gonna chop it up again, man. And I'm gonna stay in touch with you on Facebook, and I definitely want to
let Leandre do his. Let him do his thing.
No. I was done. I'm sitting around listening now. I'm done.
Yeah, he chilling. The man of rage chilling. He didn't got his issue off, man. He done been a bully for the night. I ain't never seen him be a bully before, but I'm glad I got to see that side of him. But yeah, on the 27th though, make sure y'all and hey, I gotta thank you too, bro, because I got like 20 new subscribers, and I'm attributing it to you coming on because I saw the video you did saying you was coming on. Next thing you know, I started seeing people pop up. So salute to everybody that subscribed. But on the 27th of this month, my brother, the man of rage with his afro puff on the top of his head for Black
He's going to engage in some serious child abuse.
Leandre gonna be going against my brother outside the cube.
So how you know all 20 of them was his people, not my people I invited?
Well, no, I'm talking about you. I was saying that to you.
Oh,
I was saying, that's why I said I saw the video you did.
That's why you got to show me this to bring this to my channel.
No doubt.
And I got a couple of people I done met too that I done met people. I was in what was it, FedEx, UPS, one of the places, and I had to fax something for I told I got a colonoscopy and endoscopy coming up. And they said, we're doing the fax. They was like, so what's your name? And I said, William Jones. And dude said, I watch your videos.
Yeah.
So we proceeded to chop it up in FedEx for about 45 minutes with the people that work there. And we gonna do a video.
That's what's up.
So what I'm saying is, me and you gonna talk. Show me all this. I gotta bring this to my channel too. My people, they watching as well. So hook it up.
Inbox me your email address and I'll email you the whole video. You chop it up however you want to.
Yeah, I'll put this on my wall as well.
Okay.
I mean, on my channel as well.
No doubt.
We can do that.
With that being said, family, like I say, look out for Leandre against Outside the Cube on the 27th. Is it logical to believe in the biblical God? On March 5th,
no.
We got on March 5th, we got Black Lion Supreme going against my little brother Nobody from Trust and Believe the Gospel. Is the Black church an extension of the European church and Christianity part and parcel to white supremacy? On March 12th, we also got myself and the brother Stephen Swinton, and the subject is what's better for Black people, Christianity or the Kemetic tradition? So we're gonna get down to
African traditions.
I should have said that, but we he wanted to be specific, so we're gonna be specific, and we're gonna get down to it. So we got three powerful debates coming for y'all. I hope y'all tune in. And with that being said, again, I want to thank the brother William Jones for coming on. Thank Sabio. Thank the brother Leandre with his Afro puff. And thank my cousin, the brother Shabaka. He'll be coming out with another video tomorrow. And we'll be black at it again, family. Appreciate y'all. That's peace.
Peace.